Hi guys, in today's video I wanted to show you one of my new molds that I've got coming out, and that's the baby mermaid tail. So this is one of a collection of mermaid tails that I've got in different sizes. So it's a mermaid baby I want to show you first of all. So it comes with the tail and some shells and a bow and even a shell shaped little pacifier dummy. Now this one's orange because it's the prototype. When these arrive they're going to be white guys, and the tail is going to be separate from the bow to make it a little bit easier to use. So we're going to start with 16 grams of modelling paste, and we're going to corn flour our mould so that the modelling paste doesn't stick into it. You can brush it around with a brush to make sure the corn flour is nice and evenly spread. And the modelling paste, you're going to try and push it into a very, very rough shape of a mermaid tail. And I just mean very rough. It just makes it a little bit easier to push it into the mould. So try and push it so it's flat at the back. You can push a little cocktail stick into the top of the mermaid tail for when we remove it later to help us pull it out. You don't have to do this bit, it's entirely up to you. And then you can fill your other little cavities with paste, so they're not going to need a lot of paste for these bits. Some of them are very small indeed. But I would advise using modelling paste rather than fondant, because fondant's going to be very soft and that little bit harder to get out of the mould. If you do want to use fondant, do mix it with a bit of CMC or Tylose. That will help firm it up a little bit. But for me, modelling paste is a little bit easier to use. And I'll put links below the video to the products that I've used. I do sell most of the things in my shop over on my website as well, guys. So give the mould 10 minutes to kind of firm up. You can even put it in the fridge for 10 minutes if you want. Don't leave it in for too long though. And then we're going to try and just loosen the edges a little bit. And the smaller pieces you might find you have to kind of pick out with a cocktail stick just slightly at the back. Just be careful not to squash them when you are doing that. There's our little shell. And then carefully pull out the mermaid tail. I actually thought this one would be quite nice for making cake pops with, or even having like a chocolate truffle inside and you're using chocolate in the mold. Okay, so I'm going to change and bend this. So instead of it being straight, we're going to have a bit of a bend, and I'm going to sit it on a rock, which is just a piece of grey modelling paste. And then I'm going to add a little bit of colour to mine. So I'm using these sort of pearlized water activated paints that I've got. So these are edible ones that I've got. Again, I'll put links below, guys. And let's use some of the pale pink on some of the little dots that are on the tail. So the mould already has kind of a starfish and some little pearls on the tail. But if you want to add extra ones with your other little shells and stuff that come in the mould, you can always stick extra bits onto that. I'm going to go for the purple colour for painting on the little star shapes. And let's stick some of these additional shells onto the rock. And a bit of the pearlized paint as well. Now this particular one, as I mentioned before, does go with the baby mould. So it doesn't matter if you don't have the baby mould, you can obviously make a baby freehand. Or alternatively, you know, you don't have to use it with a figure at all. But I want to show you that it does fit with my baby mold. So I'm not going to spend too much time showing you how to use the mold in this video, because I do have other videos for this particular mold. And this is the baby mold that I brought out last year. And I'll put links in the top of the video so that you guys can find more videos on using the baby mold itself. But I'm not going to need the legs from this mold, and I'm going to cut the body in half so that we've just got a small piece from the top of the body, and that's going to stick onto our tail. Now, because of the position where it's sat down, we're going to sit it on the top of it there rather than the back of it. Hopefully this makes sense. What I'll probably do is some more videos, guys, showing you a baby in different positions so that we can see how we stick the tail on slightly differently depending on the position of the baby. Also, I'll be doing some more videos for some of the other mermaid tails too. So I'm just going to add a bit of pink to the tummy and arms, and let's get this all stuck together. So I think this mold will be great for, even if you don't like making figures, you can still just use the mermaid tail on its own. As you can see, I have got one further up on my board. I put the kind of Tiffany coloured bit in the mold first, and then I put the purpley lilac-y colour. It was a mix of purple and pink that I put together in the end of the tail and pushed it in nice and tight, and it all came out as one piece, even though it's got different colours in there. So you can make as many of you want as the shells and things that are on that mould. Let's make some for a little mermaid bikini. And if you guys have a go with these molds, I'd love to see what you've made. You can tag me in your creations on social media. I'm on Zoes Fancy Cakes on Facebook and on Instagram as well. So let's pop the head onto that body. So I haven't gone too much in detail in making the body itself, guys, but you can find the videos for using the baby mold in the corner of the screen now. Let's just wrap a little piece of paste around the baby's head for a little headband. I haven't given it ears. I figured maybe they could be tucked behind this little headband. Or looked like they're tucked behind it, then it saves me making ears. Put a couple of lines in the headband there, and then what we're going to do is use the bow from the mold, and we're just going to stick that onto the top of the headbands there like that. So it's pretty quick and easy when you are using a mold. And I'm just going to quickly show you actually making it with the two colours. So the Tiffany in first, and then that pink. And also, guys, they do come out without you having to use the cocktail stick. They should still come out easily enough, but if for any reason your paste is quite soft or you're struggling, just put that cocktail stick in to help you get the things out of the mould. And the new molds are gonna be a little bit easier to get the shells and the bows out of than what my prototype one was, which is this one here. Kind of reminds me of a strawberry with a tail at the end, does this little mermaid tail. So if you put a stick in the end of that, you could stick it in the top of a cupcake or a cake. Or like I say, you could make a little chocolate one, stick a bow on the tail itself on this one. And let's pop it on a cake, this one. So I've just picked up a few bits out the shop and let's put it on. So the mermaid on the rock's quite big, so I'm gonna put it next to the cake rather than on the cake because I don't want it to squash down the top because it's pretty heavy. But this one on the stick could be pushed into the top, like so. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Don't forget to check out my other mermaid tails in the collection as well. I can't wait to see what you guys make with them. Thanks for watching.
If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and leave me a comment below. You can see more of my tutorials by clicking on the images on screen now. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button to stay up to date with my future tutorials. There are also links in the description box below where you can find me on Facebook, Instagram and more.